In the beginning of the drama, we are told that the Joseon dynasty ruled Korea for 600 years, and now, the royal family follows the constitution of present-day Korea. The absolute powers that the royal families used to have now become a class, and those people come among the elite people of Korea. Then we see a prestigious school called the Royal Academy. The results for the spring exam of 2009 has arrived. Everyone goes to see their rank. There we see a boy named Min-soo, who belonged to a royal family, checking the ranking board of his class. A girl named Song Heeju is on the first position, and Min-soo has come second, which makes him very annoyed. Then we see our female lead, Song Heeju. She comes to Min-soo and says, "You lost again." Min-soo says, "Were you scared of me? Is that why you worked so hard?" Heeju laughs and says, "Was the study difficult for you? It was very simple for me. Try harder next time." Hearing this, Min-soo tells her, "You are not from a noble family like us, so don't forget your place." On this, Heeju says, "Next time, put in a little effort. Beating you so easily every time isn't fun anymore. You're a noble man, aren't you? And first, learn to wear your uniform properly." Saying this, she leaves. In the next scene, we see Heeju being called to the principal's office. The principal first praises Heeju, then asks her, "Do you even know why the king built this school?" Heeju says, "Yes, so that everyone gets equal opportunity." Cutting her off mid-sentence, the principal picks up an antique pot and asks Heeju, "Do you know who made this?" It was Jung Young-shil from the era of King Sejong. Even though he was the son of a courtesan, he was brilliant. Saying this, the principal gives Heeju the cup as a gift, but Heeju realizes he is talking about her being illegitimate. So Heeju comes out very angrily with the cup and throws it away. Then, the story moves few years later. Heeju is now the CEO of Castle Beauty. She is in a meeting with her employees. She is angry at everyone because their sales had become slightly lower than their competitors. An employee says, "But we are still #1 in preference ranking right now." Meanwhile, our rival company gave a 50% discount in the name of a launch event and made an ad with a famous celebrity, making it go viral through inorganic methods. Heeju says, "Now we have to beat them at their own game. That celebrity refused our offer, right? Dig up dirt on her. We'll definitely find something." Then she tells them to have the volume of their products so that people, fearing it might sell out, will buy more. Just then, Heeju's secretary, Hae-jung, arrives to remind her that she has to attend the royal king's birthday celebration, so she needs to leave immediately. Hearing this, Heeju gets an idea. She says, "Since I am going to the palace today, I am going to create a crazy buzz there for our company. So all of you just write articles and make videos go viral everywhere. And the killer headline will be, 'The heir of the Castle Group was invited to the king's birthday banquet.'" Later, Hae-jung asks her, "Are you really going to inherit the Castle Group?" Heeju says, "No. But what's the harm in saying it? And spreading such rumors is exactly what PR is, right?" Then in the next scene, we see our main lead, Grand Prince Ian, who has just returned from hunting and is taking a shower. Court ladies are waiting for him outside. Then we see Ian's assistant, Choi, arrives. He tells them that he will bring the Grand Prince. Then he goes inside and asks, "What gift have you prepared?" Pointing a gun at him, Ian says, "I've only been seeing blood since morning. I didn't get time to think about that." Choi says, "You shouldn't have gone for hunting today. You should have reached the palace by now, and why are you still wearing the hunting dress? Change it quickly." But Ian refuses and leaves for the banquet. Meanwhile, at the palace, all the guests are arriving in traditional and formal dresses. Heeju comes out of her luxury red car and she is wearing a red dress. The reporters immediately start taking her photos, while Heeju begins posing like a celebrity. Reporters start talking about how Heeju actually came in a red dress, which shocks everyone because no one except the king wears a red dress in the palace. Meanwhile, her team is busy doing full PR. Articles are being written. Videos and photos are trending everywhere. Whatever bag Heeju has, whatever dress she has, they post it online and it quickly sells out. In the next scene, Heeju is drinking alone. Next to her, there are 3 girls gossiping about her, saying, "She is Chairman Song's illegitimate daughter. Nobody knew about her until she was 10 years old. His mistress left her with Chairman Song. That's why she's dressed like this. What else can you expect from an illegitimate daughter?" Hearing this, Heeju breaks her wine glass, shows it to them, and smiles, which makes the 3 of them run away. Just then, Heeju's half-brother, Minjin, comes to tease her about her company's sales having dropped. But Heeju tells him, "You babble like dog. From tomorrow, wear a leash instead of a tie. It'll suit you." She tightens his tie. Just then, a court lady arrives to call everyone inside for dinner. Inside, everyone is sitting at the table to eat. We see that the king is a child. His name is Yoon. Next to him is his mother, Irene, who is the queen mother. The seat on the left side of the king is empty, which is for Grand Prince Ian, who is the acting king because the king is a minor. After a while, Ian arrives. Everyone stands up seeing Ian. Yoon is happy to see his uncle, but Irene starts scolding him. What kind of dress is this? Ian says, King Yoon gave it to me, so I thought it would be good. Yoon says, you look perfect. Irene wants to scold him more, but Ian says, you can give me the lecture later. Saying this, he sits on his throne. Meanwhile, Heeju is also looking at Ian. Meanwhile, the king is performing all his birthday ceremonies. In a paper, he has to write his wishes. He writes, I want my mother to be happy, my uncle to be happy, and the whole public to be happy. Heeju is watching fireworks near the royal lake. Then Ian also arrives there, and Heeju keeps looking at him. Then the Prime Minister, Jung-ho, sees Heeju and comes to talk to her. Heeju teases him a little for wearing pink clothes. Jung-ho says, I am now the Prime Minister of the royal cabinet. I have to follow the rule. Then he praises Heeju, because under her leadership, castle beauty is growing a lot. Then he asks, you wore this dress intentionally, right? Because you know very well that wearing red is not allowed in the palace. Heeju says, so what? I'm not breaking any law. Just then, Choi comes to Jung-ho and says, Ian wants to meet you. In the next scene, Jung-ho comes to Ian and asks, why do you leave alone like this without telling anyone? Ian says, why? Are you afraid someone might kill me? Jung-ho says, no, I'm worried that your secretary will surely die someday worrying about you. Ian suddenly asks him, when are you getting married? Jung-ho says, where did the topic of marriage come from all of a sudden? Ian says, because I am the one getting married. Jung-ho is a little surprised. Ian says, after getting married, I'll have to leave the palace. After I leave, all the work I do will have to be done by you, because the king is only 8 years old and can't be involved in state affairs. Jung-ho says, forgive me, but I won't be able to do the work. On this, Ian says, okay then, use your veto power. According to the Royal Family Act, royal marriage requires the approval of the royal cabinet. Saying this, he leaves. Jung-ho says he could have just told me he doesn't want to get married. He scared me for no reason. Meanwhile, Heeju, searching for network on her phone, wanders into a restricted area. Just then, Ian arrives and asks, who are you? Heeju bows her head to greet him. Ian comes closer and asks, name. Heeju apologizes and says she lost her way. Ian asks again, name? And what is your relation to the palace? So, Heeju tells him her name and says she has no relation to the palace. Then Ian, coming toward her, says no one except the royal family and palace's staff is allowed here. If you leave before my count of 3, I will forget that you ever came here. Heeju looks at him, so Ian says, I can do at least this much for my junior. Saying this, he starts the countdown. Just then, an explosion is heard from the palace side. Hearing this, he tells Heeju to stay there and heads toward the palace. Inside, everyone is running here and there. The king is inside. No one knows what happened to him. Seeing all this, Ian remembers a flashback from 3 years ago. In a similar fire incident, the previous king, Ian's older brother, was killed. This scares him a lot and he is about to go find the little king. Just then, the queen mother comes from behind and slaps him. She says, do you want to take another king's life now? Hearing this, everyone is surprised. But just then, the little king calls his mother from behind, so the queen mother goes to her child. However, we see Heeju had followed him, and seeing all this, she is shocked. The fire is brought under control. Prime Minister Jung-ho thinks someone deliberately set the fire, so he increases palace security and tells the press to be controlled so they don't spread rumors. Heeju also comes outside. Secretary Hae-jong asks her how she got out so quickly. Heeju tells her about the fire incident. Hearing this, Hae-jong starts asking about Prince Ian, whether he is okay. Heeju asks, are you his fan? Is that why you're so worried about him? Saying this, they both leave. Hae-jong asks, do you have some beef with Grand Prince Ian? I mean, he also studied at the Royal Academy of Korea, so he didn't bully you in school or something, did he? Heeju says, just because. Then she recalls a scene from the past. Heeju came secretly to the archery range at night to practice. After training for a while, Ian comes from behind and asks, who are you? What's your name? She tells her name and says she is from the 9th grade. Ian says children below 10th grade can't come here. Didn't you know? Heeju says, what about you? What are you doing here? Ian takes out the principal's approval letter and says, I have approval. Heeju asks, how did you get it? Ian explains, I have a match tomorrow. I was training for that. Later she explains how she came. She shows a key and says, I stole this key from Min-soo, who is in 9th grade. If using the archery range is forbidden, then how did he get this key? If my enemy plays dirty and wins, I will also do the same thing so I can win. I don't care about your rules. Saying this, she leaves. Then the story returns back to the present. The next day, Irene comes to meet Ian and says, I said all that before, please forgive me for that. Ian says Prime Minister Jung-ho was about to take some action. Anyway, I'll explain to him that you apologize. Irene says there was a fire in the palace. The king's life could have been in danger, but everyone was worried about the cut on your face. Ian asks if she blames him for that. Irene says yes, because he is the regent. Ian asks if she wants all responsibilities to be given to their 8-year-old king, which isn't possible. That's why he was made regent. The Queen Mother was worried about Ian's influence because she thinks Ian has overshadowed the king. Hearing this, Ian remembers his childhood. He had scored 100 out of 100 on an exam, but even then, his father wasn't happy. His father told him, never come in the crown prince's way, meaning it was decided from childhood that Ian's older brother would be the king and Ian never would be. Coming back to the present, Ian asks what she wants from him. Irene says, I want you to agree to the marriage then. Marry a girl of my choice. Do this and prove that you are always with the king. Meanwhile, Heeju's father, Hanjuk, has also found a match for her, which Heeju flatly refuses because there's nothing special about that boy. He is just the CEO of a small company. Heeju says, at least find someone equal to me. Just then, Minjun arrives with his wife, Gaeyong. They say this is the best match they have found worthy of her. Heeju understands that these people are just thinking of throwing her out of the family. Gaeyong says they tried in many good families to find a match for her. But people look into every little detail when it comes to marriage, and everyone rejected her. With this, she is taking a dig at Heeju being illegitimate. Hearing this, Heeju retorts, then how did you end up marrying a loser like Minjun? This starts another argument between the siblings. Later, Heeju clearly tells her father that she is not marrying that boy and leaves. On the other hand, Ian is leaving the royal palace for a few days. Just then, he meets Mr. Sangwoo, who is the Queen Mother's father, and also a minister in the royal court. Hearing that Ian is going to his private residence, he asks, what about your security? If you face any trouble, Ian says, I thought you'd be happy about my leaving the palace, but you've surprised me by showing concern. Saying this, he leaves. Later, Mr. Sangwoo comes to meet Irene and says, you did all that to Ian. You slapped him, blamed him for the fire. You shouldn't have done that. He is a regent. He has power. The public loves him. Irene says, yes, I know. And that's exactly what worries me. Meanwhile, Heeju is looking for a boy on her own because she knows that if she doesn't do something, her father will get her married to some ordinary guy anyway. So she tells Haegong to check matrimonial profiles of everyone from politicians to businessmen. She says, just find someone equal to my status. It's not like I'm looking for a royal family. Saying this, she gets an idea. Meanwhile, in Heeju's office, there's a lot of discussion about Ian because he is no less than a celebrity. Haejong comes to Heeju praising Ian. She tells her that Grand Prince Ian is trending everywhere right now. While reading articles about him, Heeju says, he's not that bad. Later, she tells Haejong, now I want to marry Ian. But Haejong says, this can't be. How can you think about marrying Grand Prince Ian? Heeju asks, why not? Where will Grand Prince Ian find a girl as beautiful, intelligent, and rich as me? Haejong asks, you haven't told anyone else about this, have you? Heeju says, no, but I have sent a royal audience request to meet Ian. To meet Grand Prince Ian, one has to send a royal audience request, which he must accept. Only then can one meet Ian. Ian had received many audience requests, but he tells Choi to reject them all. Choi informs him that one of them is from the CEO of Castle Beauty, Song Heeju. Ian rejects her request too. On the other hand, Heeju gets upset seeing the rejection message for her request. Haejong says, did you think it would be so easy to meet Grand Prince Ian? And besides, you didn't even give a reason for wanting to meet him. Heeju asks, what should I write? That I want to marry you? Haejong says, don't write that at all. Heeju says, he's acting too pricey. But Heeju doesn't give up. She keeps submitting requests repeatedly and keeps getting rejected. Getting rejected repeatedly, Heeju gets frustrated. Then she remembers that on the night of the king's birthday, Ian had said, I can do at least this much for my junior. This gives her an idea. This time, she writes, mentioning your junior. After this, Choi tells Ian that Miss Heeju has sent another request, but this time she has written that your junior, Heeju, needs some guidance from Senior Grand Prince Ian. Ian smiles and tells Choi to accept the request. Heeju is overjoyed to see request accepted. In the evening, she dresses up and arrives at Ian's private residence. The news of her meeting Ian reaches the Irene because they have a spy working as a maid in Ian's private residence. In the next scene, both are sitting face to face. Ian says, I can't figure out what name to call you. You sent requests under so many names, so tell me, why did you want to meet me? Heeju places an envelope in front of Ian and says, I wanted to propose to you. Let's get married. Ian is shocked to hear this. Then the scene shifts to the past when on the evening of the Crown Prince's birthday, when Ian had come to the royal lake to set off fireworks, both of them had seen each other. Then, after Heeju had said all those things to Ian at the archery range, she was very worried at school the next day. Because she had insulted the Grand Prince and the royal family, she was afraid of being expelled from school and of punishment. But just then, her friend calls her to tell her about an announcement, where upon Ian's say-so, from now on, the archery range would be open for everyone at all times, and everyone would get a chance to practice. Seeing this, Heeju gets very surprised. And with this, the episode ends here. If you liked the video and want to watch the next episode, comment and subscribe for more.